There's many ways that you can start as an entrepreneur, as an immigrant, to work for your generational wealth, to leave something behind for your kids, to be able that your kids actually pay your school without getting a loan. Imparables, this is episode number 13, and today we're discussing about generational wealth, how to create it, why it's important, and why for you, from where you are in your position, can be able to create such an amazing legacy for you and your family and your talent. If you like our content, make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and here we go. So this episode we're talking about what is important about generational wealth. So how to create it, and how, since our position, can we give back and create a legacy for us. So the first thing, and most important, is what is generational wealth, right? Generational wealth is a wealth itself, which is passed to generation and generation. And somebody have to start it, right? So today, we'll talk about how you can start your next piece of wealth, how to pass this amazing creation that you have made, and how to create a legacy. Because everything, to me, comes down to legacy, right? Why is important generational wealth? Because you leave something behind. You know, in the scheme of times, you will pass, but it's what you left behind. And you leave a company, if you leave wealth, if you leave abundance to your family, most likely what's going to happen? They actually will create more wealth and more family with that. Why is important generational wealth? Because we as immigrants, we come many times and we start with nothing, right? We start and we struggle. We start and sometimes we start with debt. We want our kids to go to college. We start getting ourselves in debt. We start getting our families in debt. We start getting our kids to go to college and get loans and get this amount, big amounts of debt that we actually cannot manage it many times. So let's go with the process. How it will be for you as an entrepreneur, as an immigrant entrepreneur, create wealth for you and your family. There's many ways that you can start as an entrepreneur, as an immigrant, to work for your generational wealth, to leave something behind for your kids, to be able that your kids actually pay your school without getting a loan. You know, prepare for that, and maybe to create something bigger, leaving maybe a company, leaving maybe a property, leaving maybe capital so they can start a new business. So how can we do that? The first thing to me is to understand where your money comes from and what is your situation right now. If you understand what are your situation right now, what are your numbers, right? You cannot create something if you cannot measure it. You cannot manage if you cannot measure. So first you have to know your numbers. What is your income and what is coming out? What is your income and what is coming out? Once you have that clear, you have to understand the way that you live. Many people, when they start making some money, you know, you start with a company, you start your enterprise, you start your business, and you start making money. And what happens when money start coming in? You start spending more. So first thing of all, is something that many people say, Gary Vee is one of the ones that say it, in order to you have wealth, you have to live the same you live today for the next several years, 10 years or 15 years, right? He also says that he paid himself $80,000 a year in the first 10 years of his business. Next, understand what is the position of money that we have, right? What I mean is in which situation you are. Many people know how to create money, okay? But then less of that, half of that probably, knows how to save money. But just a little portion of people know how to create more money, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. First of all, you have to learn to make money. If you start with an enterprise, if you start with a business, if you start being an entrepreneur, most likely you know how to create money. You know how to create wealth, right? Now we have to understand that that wealth have to be distributed in a really safe place, right? So we have to start learning save money. If you cannot save money, you're never going to have money to create more wealth and more abundance. And I'm not talking about you save it in a little place and never touch it. I'm talking about save it to actually do something later, right? Once you start saving it, now is the time that when you have some capital to start investing in something that you know, right? Many people, what it does, for example, they start doing their enterprise, they save money and they start investing to real estate. If you can repeat that process of real estate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times, you get to the point that you start having income. That's called passive income. In the way that you do not have to be effectively managing or working towards that. That's the real definition to me of passive income. When you start having passive income, you can actually invest that money again to something different. Like could be stocks, like could be shares, buying companies. But just remember the first step of all of multiple flows of income is that in order to you actually can have a next flow of income, your first way to make money have to be independent of itself. What I mean is once your first flow income, your first business is dependent on itself, can create by itself, don't move to the next step because it will take attention from you and then you're going to be completely don't know what to do, where to go, what is your next move. So many people that I know, in my case, I've done it like that. I have created many flows of income. In fact, creating passive income, just being in the stage that I need at each point of my life and understanding where the money is, but the most important, what I want for the future. As an immigrant, everybody wants something bigger. Everybody wants something better. You don't come to this country, you don't come to America to say, no, I don't want to create anything, or no, I don't want to have a bigger, better myself for my family. I don't want my kids to go to college. You don't say that. You want the best for your family. You want the best for your legacy. So at that point, what I want to touch is really important. You might pass, but what you leave always will stay with you. What you leave behind, what you leave to your kids, what you leave to your talent, might be your company, might be wealth, might be properties. What you leave to your legacy, what you leave behind, you might pass. But what you leave behind is what yours, your family and your kids will use to actually not pass what you pass, but actually to make it better and to make it bigger. So how generational wealth looks to me, it's exactly what I'm doing. When I learned to create money, when I learned to sell, to me the way to create money was to sell, to learn how to sell. Once I learned how to sell and I learned how to start creating money, I start saving money. I started storaging money. When I have so much capital, I start investing in real estate, right? For several years I did it that way. Right? Buying real estate, buying another piece of real estate, buying another piece of real estate, until all those amounts of real estate that I have start becoming passive income. With that passive income, I start investing in different things. So I invested some in shares, I invest some in stocks. I talked to a professional, of course. At that point, I didn't know anything about financial. I didn't know how to distribute my money and how to distribute my wealth. Right? But I still in that work for that. I want to create more legacy and I want to create something for the future. Not only for me, but what is the example that I set as inspiration for my kids, for my talent to actually go to the next step and they also can do the same. So follow us in our page. If you like the content, please click below, subscribe, and see you in the next episode on Imparables.